Nearly 100,000 people are relocating from California to Texas every single year. That's 262 people making the move every single day. Families are facing childcare costs that consume up to 28% of their household income. Housing prices have reached a median of over $800,000. And between 2023 and 2024, California saw a net loss of nearly 240,000 residents, the largest domestic migration loss in the nation. This isn't a sudden crisis. It's a 15-year trend that's reshaping American demographics. Let's explore what's driving this movement and what it means for both the people leaving and the communities they're joining. California has long represented opportunity and innovation. Home to nearly 40 million people, it remains America's most populous state, hosting Silicon Valley, world-class universities, and stunning natural beauty from beaches to mountains. But recent migration data reveals a significant pattern. Between July 2023 and 2024, California experienced a net domestic migration loss of 239,575 people. While this represents less than 1% of the state's population, the trend has persisted consistently for over 15 years. More revealing than the raw numbers is understanding who's moving, where they're going, and what's motivating these decisions. The patterns tell us about changing economic realities, quality of life priorities, and how Americans are rethinking where they want to build their futures. The migration patterns, the numbers behind the movement. Recent research from the Public Policy Institute of California analyzed migration patterns to understand this trend. The findings show distinct differences between those leaving and those staying or arriving. The destinations reveal clear preferences. Texas, Florida, Arizona, and Nevada consistently top the list. These states share common attractions: no state income tax in several cases, significantly lower housing costs, and more affordable day-to-day living expenses. Many departures cite frustrations with high taxes and high regulations, and high gas prices and high energy prices. For others, the decision centers purely on economic factors like housing affordability or job opportunities. A self-reinforcing pattern. As people relocate to states that match their lifestyle preferences and economic needs, those states become even more attractive to similar households. Families seeking lower costs move to affordable states, which then invest in infrastructure to accommodate growth, attracting more cost-conscious families. This creates momentum. States like Texas and Florida gain population, which brings tax revenue, which funds schools and roads, which attracts businesses, which creates jobs, which draws more families. The cycle continues. Meanwhile, California continues attracting young professionals in their 20s, drawn by tech opportunities and cultural appeal. But it's losing families in their 30s and 40s who are priced out of homeownership or struggle with childcare costs. When celebrities relocate, high-profile departures. The migration story isn't limited to statistics. High-profile individuals leaving California often articulate reasons that resonate with broader trends. Mark Wahlberg relocated his family to Nevada, seeking better opportunities for his children's pursuits, equestrian activities, and golf. He wanted to provide his kids space to pursue their goals and dreams outside the Hollywood environment. Sylvester Stallone announced his family was leaving California for Florida, citing a desire for change. Joe Rogan moved his podcast operation to Texas in 2020, pointing to the state's tax structure and business climate. Dean Cain chose Nevada, specifically mentioning taxes on everything: energy, water, gas, plus sales tax levels. Varied motivations. Jillian Michaels moved to Florida in 2024, citing concerns about state policies, drought conditions, and homelessness. Scott Baio selected Florida after 45 years in California, emphasizing safety concerns in Los Angeles. George and Amal Clooney relocated to France, with George explaining concerns about raising our kids in LA, in the culture of Hollywood. Eva Longoria now divides time between Mexico and Spain, describing California as, "This chapter in my life is done now." The common thread. While specific motivations vary family priorities, safety, taxes, lifestyle changes, these decisions reflect broader themes: the search for affordability, different quality of life factors, safety considerations, and the desire for change after long periods in one place. These high-profile moves garner attention, but they mirror decisions being made by thousands of families without public platforms. The calculations remain similar, weighing California's advantages against its challenges and deciding whether elsewhere better serves their goals. The economic factors. Housing affordability. California's median home price stands at $809,227, roughly double the national average. For renters, costs remain similarly elevated relative to other states. This isn't confined to San Francisco or Los Angeles. Affordability challenges extend throughout much of California. Since 2014, California has experienced net losses of over 700,000 adults who cite housing as their primary reason for relocating. This exceeds both employment and family-related moves, representing a fundamental shift in what drives people away. The housing shortage has deep roots. Zoning restrictions, environmental regulations, and community opposition to new development have constrained supply for decades. Meanwhile, demand from jobs, climate appeal, and California's existing amenities keeps prices elevated. For a young family trying to buy their first home, the math simply doesn't work. A household earning $100,000, well above the national median, still struggles to afford an $800,000 home. The down payment alone could be $160,000. Monthly payments, including property taxes and insurance, could exceed $5,000. The childcare challenge. For families who remain, childcare costs present another significant burden. Recent research from the Public Policy Institute of California examined this issue across all counties. Full-time preschool care ranges from 6% to 18% of median family income across California counties. For infant care, the percentage jumps to 8% to 28% of median household income. In actual dollars, full-time preschool care costs between $9,000 and $24,000 annually, depending on location. Infant care ranges from $11,000 to $29,000 per year. For a family earning median income, these expenses compete directly with housing costs, retirement savings, and other financial priorities. Despite state funding for childcare nearly doubling since 2019, from $6.9 billion to $11.7 billion, access remains challenging. Only 31% of childcare navigators reported that families could locate affordable infant care, compared to nearly 80% for preschool-age children. The research suggests that mothers of young children in California are 29 percentage points less likely to work than fathers. Improving affordable child care access could potentially add over 80,000 women to California's workforce annually. When families add up housing costs, plus child care expenses, they're often spending 50–60% of their gross income before taxes, groceries, transportation, or saving for retirement. These household-level calculations drive many relocation decisions. The California to Texas connection. The California to Texas migration corridor represents the largest state-to-state movement in America. Approximately 100,000 Californians relocate to Texas annually, 262 people every day. These movers share certain characteristics. Data shows about 75% are Gen X or millennials. Roughly one-third hold at least a bachelor's degree. About 27% work remotely. They bring above-average incomes, with California transplants to Texas earning an average of $145,960. What makes Texas attractive? Housing costs average 63% less expensive than California, with rents approximately 32% lower. There's no state income tax. The job markets in Dallas-Fort Worth, Austin, and Houston offer strong opportunities, particularly in technology and energy sectors. Physical space matters too. Yards, larger homes, and room for families to spread out represent quality of life improvements many cite when explaining their moves. A family selling an $800,000 two-bedroom condo in California can purchase a 2,500 square foot home with a yard in Texas for $300,000 and have $500,000 left over for retirement, college funds, or financial security. The ripple effects. Economic impacts. California is losing productive, educated residents. While the state still attracts young college graduates in their 20s, it experiences net losses of families, middle-income households, and established professionals in their 30s and 40s. The fiscal impact is substantial. When higher-income households relocate, they take their tax contributions with them. California's top income tax rate of 12.3% means that even modest losses of high earners affect state finances and the services those revenues support. Conversely, destination states gain these benefits. Tax base, talent, and economic energy flow to Texas, Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Tennessee, the most common destination states. Growing destination states. Texas alone saw a net domestic migration increase of 85,267 people between July 2023 and July 2024. Florida gained 64,017. These numbers represent families settling in, businesses opening, housing being built, and communities expanding. Corporate relocations follow similar patterns. Major companies have moved headquarters to Texas, bringing jobs, investment, and additional migration as employees relocate. These moves create momentum. As companies relocate, they attract talent, which attracts more companies. The infrastructure in these states is adapting. New schools open, housing developments expand, and services grow to meet increased demand. This creates opportunities, but also challenges, as rapid growth strains existing resources. What California loses. Beyond tax revenue, California loses community members, entrepreneurs, and families who contribute to local economies. Each departing household represents lost spending at local businesses, reduced demand for services, and one fewer family invested in the community's future. The brain drain aspect matters too. When educated professionals in their peak earning years leave, they take decades of potential economic contribution with them. Their children won't attend California schools. They won't start businesses that create California jobs. Their lifetime tax contributions go elsewhere. Understanding the trend, not a collapse, but a recalibration. California's migration story isn't about state failure. California's economy remains the largest in the nation and fifth largest globally. Its universities attract students worldwide. Its cultural influence through entertainment, technology, and innovation extends everywhere. Instead, this reflects changing calculations. People are weighing California's undeniable attractions, the climate, innovation ecosystem, natural beauty, cultural opportunities against rising costs, quality of life concerns, and whether their specific goals are better served elsewhere. For some, the balance still favors staying. For others, it doesn't. The ability to make this choice, enabled partly by remote work and partly by prosperity, represents a form of mobility previous generations couldn't access as easily. What happens next? Will these trends continue? Likely, but not inevitably. California has faced similar challenges before and adapted. Recent state efforts to expand childcare access, address housing through new legislation, and invest in infrastructure show recognition of the issues. The question is whether responses will be sufficient, timely, and effective. For every family that chooses to stay despite challenges, another calculates that their goals are better served in Austin, Miami, or Charlotte. The broader picture. The California migration story reflects wider American trends. The search for affordability, the balance between career opportunities and family needs, and increasing mobility enabled by technology. Remote work has fundamentally changed the equation. If you can keep your California salary while living in Texas or Florida, the economic advantage becomes enormous. A $150,000 income goes much further in Dallas than San Francisco. Whether you view this as California's challenge or other states' opportunity depends on perspective. What's clear is that millions of Americans are making active choices about where to build their lives, and those choices are reshaping the nation's demographic and economic landscape. The movement of nearly 240,000 people from California in a single year, the 100,000 annual California to Texas relocations, and the shifting demographics tell a story about how Americans choose where to live in the 21st century. It's about housing costs and childcare expenses. It's about taxes and quality of life. It's about opportunities and trade-offs. Most of all, it's about individuals and families making complex decisions based on their unique circumstances and priorities. California will continue to attract newcomers drawn by its opportunities and climate, but it will also continue to lose residents who find better fits elsewhere. Both can be true simultaneously. For families making these decisions, the considerations are deeply personal. Can we afford to buy a home? Will we spend our children's early years financially stressed? Do we value proximity to family more than career advancement? There's no single right answer. If you're considering a move whether to California, from California, or anywhere else, you're part of this larger story of American mobility. Understanding the trends can help inform your own decisions. Thanks for watching. If you found this analysis helpful, please like and subscribe for more data-driven explorations of demographic and economic trends shaping our communities. Share your own moving experiences or thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective.